or Curdy membrane like you saw yesterday. We're gonna drop it on the back wall here. He'll cut out the hole and install the mixing valve flange, and then he's gonna install a curb and the shower pan as well. And then we'll break off and they're gonna do the light demo right now.
No, then it's lunch, and then when they come back, we'll get ready.
Really? Hour fast? Really?
So pay attention.
No, what time is it?
It's 11. For all those steps?
He got it.
Slow.
I got one question before you start. Are we gonna put?
Are you certified?
Are we gonna-
Are you certified?
Are you gonna put the pin set all over where it's supposed to be?
Yes. So last night I came back and I put this
There you go.
What's crazy is it's still locked in.
Yeah, this time they make a little bit extra in the bucket so he can have enough.
He was running out.
So here we go. He's gonna go again with the damp sponge, cleaning the substrate, giving it a good drink of water. Don't skip that step, especially over this stuff. Very porous, sucks that moisture right out of the thin set.
If you're using a Curdy board, do you need to do that?
No, but it's not a bad idea to. I mean, you know what kind of dust is accumulated on that stuff. I knock it down. Yeah.
Any type of
Yeah.
dust.
Bond breakers. Yeah. We're still in a good habit of just knocking it down real quick. Yeah. So we're using the white, and we're just using Schluter set.
This is just a Schluter set.
So we're using our non-modified thin set, Schluter set in white. White's fun to work with.
So you can
Obviously,
see
looks
it's pretty
cleaner.
runny again, same
Yeah.
as with our teacher from yesterday's.
So he's using again the Curdy trowel, the 8x8 square notch. He's getting material on the wall, and then he'll take the flat side of the trowel and burn that in or key that in.
And you guys are gonna give those trowels away?
Yes.
What's that? Yeah, I think we do have them here, right, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The used ones.
No, you guys typically take one with you. I wasn't here.
You guys will get
Pero acuérdate que nos vamos a quedar desde-
Yep.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, so you'll take a Curdy trowel and a Dietra
Ese
trowel
y
with
una
you.
chela.
Yeah.
Bien rápido se vendieron.
So again, combing out his thin
Es que me
set.
dijo, ahorita le voy a preguntar a estos tres, le dije, no te preocupes, ahí están esos güeyes. Le dije, we're Mexican, don't worry.
I know. I asked all the white guys. They said no.
When there's Mexicans in the room, bring up the beer.
Let's go.
Good, man.
Guys.
So nice and clean. You got white or gray? I like white, obviously. But maybe a couple dollars difference in a bag is what it is. But
It just makes it so much
it's so much
more
cleaner. Yeah.
cleaner, yeah.
You just feel better about what you're doing.
When you're starting white porcelain and they bring you great things,
Oh,
and then the ground is gonna be white.
yeah, yeah. So again, we're just gonna embed the membrane. He's already pre-cut it. Just roll it right on out.
This is trampa, ¿no?
And you notice down here, we always pre-cut all of our banding and mark it. You know, take the time to do that and just work ahead, and you'll be flying when it comes time to do your install. That's the way to go. Just mark everything out. Yeah, yeah. You're not back and forth. Yeah.
So per se that you didn't put it all the way against the other wall. How much is the allowance in between?
Well, are you talking about the connection here,
Yeah.
wall to wall?
Yeah.
So normally, what we would do is probably roll that wall.
No, but in case that I came up short or whatever.
Okay.
How?
Well, it wouldn't matter. I mean, if you're a quarter inch off, that's fine, because you're going to drop. In that case, you're going to take your Curdy band and you're going to drop a riser in there with a 2-inch overlap on either side. Actually, 2.5 inch overlap because the band's 5 inches wide. Yeah, so you'll be good.
So you can overlap. So for example,
You can roll the wall.
So for example, you know how there's standard size is like 8 feet height. Your standard size for your papers. what's the-
6'7" on the tall one. On the tall
Right,
wall, 6'7".
6.7. But there's sometimes that they want
Go higher?
the whole,
Uh-huh.
the whole shower walls.
Yeah.
And so can you overlap?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so then you would go another, you would take another sheet and see this little blank area in here, that's 2 inches right there. You'd overlap right there. Come out your thin set and then overlap there and then run to your wall. And when you hit the corners on the wall, you can take your membrane and roll it like they showed in the video. Or you can run edge to edge and then use the Curdy band as your riser. You can go either way.
Do they have, I think you said that there's thicker curdy band?
Wider Curdy band? Yeah, I think they have, I think it was 7 and 10 inches wide. Yeah.
For the bench?
Yeah, it's, so if you wanted to get like, the roll that's maybe 7 inches wide, you've got more coverage and you can roll with that too, yeah.
That's answer your question. Yeah, if I use it in the bench.
Is there a point where you overroll, like say if you had 16 inches over, and you wanted to just run?
It's just build up, extra build up,
But
yeah.
it's not gonna hurt it.
No, yeah, you can't overdo it really.
And then down there on the bottom, you've got like 5/8, maybe 3/4 inch gap. What's like the most that you can have as far as that goes?
Where are we talking again? Sorry.
Down the bottom, benches.
Oh, you mean that space that right there?
Yeah.
Like coming off the bench?
Yeah.
That's still fine because you're
Yeah, the
gonna
most
use
you
the
can
right
have is
riser.
an inch,
Okay.
because you're still gonna get 2 inches on either
Yeah,
sides.
he's gonna drop that riser in there and that's gonna waterproof 2 inches on either side anyway.
Yeah, no, I get that, I'm just
Yeah.
curious, what's like, say if I got a guy that's installing it and he cuts it an inch, short, do we need to actually get a whole new piece, at what point do we need?
I think like Rob said, that'd probably be as far as you wanna go.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
inch.
Yeah,
And
you
we
wouldn't wanna
need a
go beyond
3 inch
that.
band there,
Yeah,
right? Just make sure you have 3 inch or 2 inches past it.
exactly.
That's what I was asking, to get the 7,
Yeah.
the wider one?
Yeah. Gotcha.
So on this, see how he shingled over it? Here you can shingle over or under it. Up and down is fine, either way. Where that sheet terminates, we leave a 2-inch space. It's great for using that as your guide for overlapping. But if you want to overlap 3 inches, no problem with that. Yeah.
Hypothetically, on this situation, right, let's just say your pat, how he was saying, let's just say you go over, let's just say 10 inches. How would mud stick to that? Can it stick? Would it stick? Would it crack?
Would it stick to what though?
Mud, like let's say 20 minute or topping or whatever. Let's just say in the bathroom because you drywall mud. Drywall mud.
Oh,
So look, thin set will stick to drywall mud, but it'll turn the drywall mud to mush. So then it'll just, if it's behind the membrane, it's gonna get all mushy and
so you have to have a
bubble up,
primer on it.
and it will.
No, what I'm saying is, for example, here, right, in this situation, let's just say you extended
That's the end of
over.
your shower, like you're
Let's
terminating
just say
there?
your shower is where the joint is, right where he's wiping right now.
Okay,
But you extended it.
yeah.
Like, would mud be able to stick on the Curdy membrane?
Or
Yes.
do you have to remove it?
Yeah, you can texture the Curdy membrane, you can paint it.
That's what I'm
if
saying,
you want,
that's
yeah.
what I'm asking. So it'll stick to it, no problem.
But normally,
Yeah,
you
like
kinda
Dave-
wanna just run it to where your tile's gonna hit the very end of it.
But you have some
Yeah.
idiot that.
Dave textured up. Dave did a restroom in his house
With half
with
inch
Curdy board and then he textured over it.
Painted it.
Yeah,
Not really.
yeah.
That's the way to do it.
So nice and clean, he showed the overlap. Pretty much what we did what he did yesterday, same stuff right here. It's Curdy membrane over solid backing. Any other questions on the membrane over solid backing?
So again, it's just so quick if you can
It
see
really
how
is.
easy it is to waterproof something.
Yeah. So again, uniform thickness, 8 mil thick. Yes.
Did you just go through when we use the modified versus non-modified?
So.
Okay,
if-
yeah.
If it's R modified, you can use it through your entire installation, it does not matter.
Or all set, either.
All set is our
All set
modified. Yeah.
All set is wrong.
So you can just use that all the time, it's a no-brainer, it's all. That's why it says all, and you can use it for all of our products and all of our installations. Where if I was using another manufacturer's thin set, applying it to this backer panel, I wanna use their premium non-modified.
Non-modified.
So if you go and you find a modified for $7, it's not premium.
Yeah.
You have, a premium non-modified is gonna be, and like, the cheapest you might find is like $16 a bag, and you know it's really good, so. If you use the cheaper stuff, this will not stick, no matter what you do, it just will not stick.
Not enough, man. Our system has always called for, with our waterproofing, our system, so you guys are clear on this, it's always called for a non-modified thin set with our waterproofing material, with our Curdy. We just can, well, but, so, no. So, this is before we had our own thin set line, okay? So it was always non-modified for our waterproofing, but if you're throwing like Dietra down over wood, it would call for modified. But people would always get confused. Now we make our own thin set, and so you can still use our non-modified, our Schluter set with all of your waterproofing. You can use that no problem, which is what we're using today. We're using non-modified. If you want to use modified, which, you know, obviously the tile manufacturers in many cases will call for modified. Now we have the answer. You can use Schluter All Set, which is our modified, and that's a one-stop shop. You can use our modified, our All Set, with our system anywhere, anytime, above or below our product. So moving forward, the way to go really is Schluter All Set. You know, we're using the set today, which is fine for waterproofing, but if you don't want to, if you want to take all the guesswork out of it, just buy the All Set and you're good to go.
And just call it a day.
It's better used as.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
sticky and it dries super hard.
Yeah.
Does the offset come in white also?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, in
absolutely.
case you have translucent tile.
Yeah, you get the All Set white. That's what we use in our demos, and smooth and creamy, and yeah.
So I'm just gonna show you an example how we cut our tray before we put it in. So when I cut these trays, I like to hold the knife towards the part that I'm gonna install. If you hold it this way, the bottom part of your tray is gonna be like an eighth or a quarter inch bigger, and it's not gonna be able to fit in there. So we'll just go like this.
And we're not providing you guys with the long blades. The Schluter's backed off on that.
And I don't-
few incidents.
You don't have to feel like you gotta cut through, you gotta cut through it on like one swipe. I just do like 3 swipes.
Several passes. Yeah.
Then you get a nice, easier, cleaner cut. If you try and get through it all at once, then you end up getting like a wobbly line or jagged cut.
So you do it like almost a 45-degree.
Yeah, almost kicking it in. Yeah.
And then it's as easy as just 30, 35. So every tray is customizable because the pitch begins, it comes from the center right here. So I still have 2% slope right here, even though I cut this, the 2% slope all throughout the tray there.
And Andy, I think you probably already talked about how you can extend with dry pack on these shower pans. Yeah. So if you have a unique situation where the shower pan's not quite covering the whole surface area, you can extend on these with dry pack mortar and then waterproof over them with the Curdy membrane. Yeah.
So what's the most you can extend out?
As far as you need to.
Yeah.
If you continue a
100
slope.
feet?
Yeah. As far as you need to.
No.
It's like,
He was saying that there's a certain amount of distance that you have to stop at. So
Oh, you
extension tree ends, I think.
maybe that's what
No, it was extending out the.
probably further than you're ever gonna
Yeah.
run into, because you know.
You're not gonna build a shower that big.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you had a unique shower pan, you could always float.
That's,
Oh, yeah. this is
Oh,
on my
good
web.
point.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna mix 2 buckets for a demo, so.
Oh, but also-
So now we're pretending this is modified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, the reality is, we're not too concerned about the shower pan. It's locked in anyway. You know.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
when we're
going
putting our
anywhere.
Dietra down, you have to put down modified.
Modified.
We're not adhering necessarily the tray to this wood, we're just basically supporting the tray to the wood. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I can tell right now, you were the perfect candidate for All Set. Because I'm telling you, because I do the same thing. It takes all the guesswork out.
I'll tell you what happens is, when I'm not installing this and I got a supervisor job,
Yeah.
I wanna know what to put down, so I install the Schuler, I gotta make a connection with the
Yeah.
bag, make sure.
So the best answer would be All Set. You know you're covered no matter what. You know. So again, Rob, keying it in, he'll burn it in, and then come back and notch it over. Right here, we're showing you the benefits of setting in one of our pans and how quickly it can go rather than mixing mud.
When you're setting the tray, you want your thin set not to be mixed for Curdy membrane. Like your typical thickness of setting tile again. We went up to the 1/4 by 3/8 tile. I like to say whenever you're putting in the trays or curbs or building benches and stuff, you just want to use the same trowel you would use if you were doing a large format tile. So then you know you'll have enough for the set.
So he's using 1/4 by 3/8. And then, once he drops the pan in, typically you'll drop some cardboard on top of the pan, or maybe the box that even came in, and then get up on the pan and walk on it and embed it. And from that point on, like, the other question we get is often is, do you guys install the pan first, or do we do the walls first? Well, probably best to work your way out of the shower. Walls, waterproofing, work all the way down, then shower pan, then button that up at the bottom, work your way out of the shower. At some point, you're gonna be on top of that shower pan, and you don't wanna compromise the waterproofing. The waterproofing is already integrated into these shower pans. So get some cardboard on it while you're doing that, right? Or,
Even some of the,
yeah, even some of this, or even a sliver of pretty board, whatever.
yeah,
Get
it's like
on it.
same thing like protecting your hand.
Yeah. So protect your work, and then when you're done, you leave the cardboard on top of it so nobody else is getting on top of it. Sorry, Josh, 1 second.
If you make that hole, let's say that that's it.
Boom. So he brings up a good point.
Yeah. We also.
We can repair on the fly with this stuff. It's so user friendly. That's what we love about this stuff. Yes, if you drop your box cutter on here and a dagger right in it, or even you feel.
Punch it up.
Yeah, you're gonna cut out a piece of Curdy band, inset, and drop it right in. Boom, right over the top of it, or membrane. Yeah.
Or red guard.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's December like 30th and we haven't hit our bonus, go buy an extra one.
Yeah. So throw that out. If there's ever a shadow of a doubt, you think that, hey, I see boot marks on my shower pan and it looks scuffed,
Red guard.
cut out a whole piece of Curdy membrane, go right over the top of it again. Yeah, Joshua, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Kind of answered my question a little bit. I wanted to elaborate on what he was saying. Say you did need to extend the shower pan by dry packing, like a large amount. Can you use the membrane?
That's what you would do. Yeah.
Yeah, you would use
Yeah.
a piece of
We
membrane.
we have a detail that allows for you to actually float your own shower pan. And in doing that, you would go right over that with thin set and Curdy membrane to waterproof it. Yeah, so that's what you would do.
It's good on the ground.
Yeah.
So we got that locked in. We want to make sure we push this in.
Yeah. See, Rob uses his cutout there as his knee pads on top of this. And it's a high density foam, so it's not going to compress as easy as you might think.
Might better color, I think.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to create any bird baths or anything like that.
So with that pan, say if you forgot your trowel, can you use a 1/2 by 1/2 on that to install it?
Well, I don't see why not. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, more thin set the better. It's fine. It's you just get a good bond. So did you already get up on top of it? I didn't-
Yeah, walked it in.
Yeah, so you walked it in?
Yes.
I don't wanna use the pan,
No problem.
but I use the, cement.
You're gonna
Yes.
float your own
And I can
pan.
put- And I can put the membrane on top of it.
That's how you would do it.
Yep.
We have a video that you
We're
can
gonna
watch.
explain that to you too.
Yeah. So we have a video and it's in your book, the shower installation handbook in your binder. There's a page there that shows if you prefer to float your own walls and float your own pan, no problem. You gotta use our drain and you're gonna waterproof all that with the Curdy membrane and thin set. Yeah. And there's a good video on it that shows how to integrate our bonding flange into that dry pack and then work off that. As far as, yeah.
What if you already have your flange? Like for hot mop. So you already
No.
did a hot mop, you already had that.
It's gotta go. We can't integrate. It's gotta be a full system.
So can't you use an adapter?
Oh, you talking about like residential drain adapter? Yes, yes. But you can't integrate hot mop with our system.
No, right, what I'm saying is, just say you already hot mop, you're like, ah, shit, I saw this, sorry, excuse my French. And then you wanna put in your drain, all your system on top of the hot mop. With that drain, you know what I mean, the residential drain?
My only concern is, Andy, can I bring you in for a quick second?
Are you saying if it's already been hot mop?
Yeah, you said the hot mop
Already
in
hot
there.
mop,
So
but you
Can
wanna
they
go
float
to
over
the
hot
membrane,
and
So the problem is, once it's already been hot mopped, the top part of your
Can't.
two-part drain has been
compromise.
bolted down and
Right.
hot mopped in there.
Right.
So You basically, your only option, once that happens, is to undo the top, pop off that, top part, the cast iron or ABS, and kind of start from scratch with our adapter and lose the hot mop. So,
Got it.
we cannot hook our system to the top of that drain and not tear up the hot mop or tear off that.
Right, right,
So-
okay.
So that's the only problem. If someone already paid the money to have it hot mopped, it's kind of like one of
Yeah,
those.
you're losing my hand.
Like, do you want to lose? You're going to have to lose the money on the hot mop if you want to transfer
Right.
over to the system.
Yeah, I just know someone that did it, and
There are a few.
So if it's already set though, and you got your cast iron or your ABS glued down, the two-part system on top is just loosely bolted there to hold it in place.
Yeah.
And you don't want to remove that bottom part that's already attached, then you can still use our system by taking the top 2-inch riser part,
Yeah.
setting it aside, and putting our adapter on there.
that's it, okay,
Yeah,
so that,
and then our adapter will, the flange is a little bit different. It's still gonna look like this with a 9-inch
There's one up there,
perimeter.
it's flat, yeah.
But the compression fitting that's on that adapter is what receives this, so
Got it.
that's the difference. So
Alright.
if you're already at that point, but they didn't hot mop, then you can go with Schluter. If they already hot mop, your only option is to tear the drain part off and start over with the whole Curdy system.
Right.
Or just do that shower with a hot mop, unfortunately, that time if you're already too late.
Hey, Rob,
Yeah.
could you set a tray then to go on hot mop?
No. I would still, well, no, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably mortar bed over it and then put membrane over
I
it.
mean, you would, yeah. You
That's
could-
what,
Because
that's
the hot
what,
mop's gonna be too uneven.
that's
and
what,
stuff, you know,
yeah.
so-
Be-
Yeah,
You
so,
could do exactly what
Yeah.
you said, but
Yeah.
you'd be out of business with our tray.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
that one you probably wanna float still up to, which I'll show you kind of.
You
an
guys,
example.
but we can
Gotta love
still
hot
use
mop.
the membrane.
Yes, correct. Yes, absolutely. Which is what I'm gonna show you right now.
Kind of what's in my house.
Huh?
That's in my house.
Oh, that'd be fine.
Pre-cut that ABS before setting that pan?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, like, say for instance, we're gonna, we got these, we cut off the 2-inch receiver because our floors are shallow. But on your traditional ABS and PVC are gonna look like this. They're gonna receive 2-inch pipe, 3/4 of an inch depth in here.
Right.
So we'll pretend this is my floor. I have no access from below and I have stubbed up ABS.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm either gonna take this piece here, or I'm gonna pop out, or pre-lay my tray down and get my measurement from this piece right here at the top down,
Okay.
which is from this spot right here. So you'll take this measurement, and then minus 3/4 of an inch, and that's how far you're gonna cut the pipe down under the subfloor, so that when you put this down in there, it's gonna go up 3/4 of an inch through there. And
Internal
this-
pipe cutting.
and sit here. So what we do is you're just gonna measure 5 times, dry fit this a bunch of times, you know? Because once we glue this and put the thing set there, we can't pull it back up.
Right.
So we just always emphasize, you're gonna dry fit, cut that stubbed up ABS. If you have ability to get underneath, you could actually put your ABS here already glued
Yeah.
and go in from underneath and adjust it to your P-trap and cut it from down there.
so don't
If
cut
you
the
need-
flange.
What's that?
no,
Don't cut the flange.
no.
No.
They did that for you. Yeah, if you need a good visual, we've got, 2 really nice videos. Curdy drain installation, access below and no access below.
So if you guys are gonna use our tray,
You can look at those and they'll show you.
You're on a job where the plumber has to attach it, then he's gonna have these things with the, comes with the tray, and then that's gonna give him the spacing. So when he glues it, this is gonna hold it off the ground, that like 3/8.
Yeah.
So when you pull this off, it's already gonna be
Ready to go.
underground. Then you're gonna take this tray right here, you're gonna pop those white things out, spread thin on each side, slide it under, and put your tray there. If it's a hot mop, you just take, if you're gonna float it, you take these guys. So now, you're gonna dry fit with this spacing instead, so that when this is glued in, it's gonna hold it off your substrate 3/4 of an inch. So now you walk into the job, there's your wood floor there, your concrete floor, this is already glued in, but sitting 3/4 off the floor. You're gonna mix your dry pack a little bit wet.
Wedge it in.
Pack that part really hard with a nice wet batch of dry pack, and then regular dry pack off of that, and then your membrane on top. So,
And there's good videos on that as well to really lock
It
you
just
in.
makes everything so much easier.
Yeah, yeah.
So my tray set, I've got this measured, and you need to make sure that your P-trap is supported. Because when you push this down, you don't want that to go. So now I know that my P-trap's supported, my ABS is cut, I dry fitted it a bunch of times. So now I'm ready to go, so I'm just gonna set that guy aside.
He's gonna take thin set now and embed it. And he's gonna embed thin set in this recessed area. This is important, you guys. He's going heavy right here. Basically, so that we can offer support underneath this bonding flange. If this ever gets point loaded, right, it could compress and deflect. So we've got to go with a heavy bed of thin set, and we want that thin set to ooze up through these trapezoids to give you a nice mechanical bond. But also, we want support underneath.
And so that's why we want to always dry fit and make sure that this is sitting on the white part or sitting on these spacers without it being up and loose. Because if we set it down and glue it, and there's a gap in between here, like an 1/8 inch to the tray, when you step on it, and it's going to break your seal of your materials. So now I got it, I'm ready. I put my glue, I know everything's good. Line it up, push it down in there.
Now
give a
push it
quarter
and twist.
So now I'm locked in. And we want to make sure that every one of those has thin sets stick out like that.
And now he's gonna take his Curdy trowel. He's gonna knock that down and waterproof that whole recessed area from here back. From here back. And then he's gonna cover that donut, that circular area. He's gonna drop a waterproofing collar. Right there it is, right there, to knock it down. So he'll go back to the 1/8 by 8 square notch, the Curdy trowel.
So you're gonna get this with the tray, but if you're doing a hot mop, if you see, let me borrow that real quick. You can cut all of this with a knife, it doesn't matter, because your waterproofing stops here. So if I was floating my shower pan, I have this glued in, I'm just gonna lay the membrane over without even worrying about trying to cut a hole in my membrane, get it all smooth, and then I'm just gonna take a knife and cut this, and pull this piece out, and then you're good to go. So, yeah, instead of trying to measure, roll, and then cut the hole in it and roll it out, I just roll over my whole floated pan, come back with a knife, cut right here, pull it out. Because you're not gonna get this if you're floating.
Yeah,
This is
that's
only
the other-
coming with the trays.
There are
So the-
instructions in the drain box for these foam spacers as well. When you get your drain kit, full list of instructions in there, and a template for your drain hole.
And if you don't understand, you just call them.
That, oh, pull up a video. So here he is, he's knocking it down. Making quick work of it. Yeah. And he's ready for his, you can call it a curdy collar or donut, whatever you want. Drops it in, he'll knock that down with the taping knives and then probably go over it with the sponge as well. And you'll be locked in.
Uno de esos.
And there are some divots in there. There are some divots in there, so now he'll take a sponge and he'll probably go over that and work out any imperfections and work out that inner ring right there where he's going to drop the drain in eventually.
So let's clean this guy up.
Nice and clean.
And now ready for tile, right?
There you go. That's it, man.
For linear drain, it's a different process, right?
It is. And we still have the drain. We still have the shower pans that are pre-sloped and waterproof, same high density foam, sloping either to the wall or at the entry or intermediate in the middle.
You actually
And we
buy
cover
a-
those in part 2. I'm sorry?
So you buy it a different shower.
Yes, it'd be. We've got them up there.
Because it's one slope
Yeah.
instead of 4 slopes.
There are a couple on the table back there you can look at. Linear drain.
It's very similar. It's basically like if you were to look at this piece, and this piece already had the membrane on it, It's kinda how the linear one works. You're still dealing with 2-inch,
Yeah.
Material.
But
You're
is
just
the
gonna,
size different though, the flange?
yeah, so the flanges are gonna run
It's
from
long,
19
linear.
inches all the way to 72 inches.
Long channel body, and it's got a curdy collar that flips off of it that does your waterproofing. It's already attached to the drain. It's pretty cool.
You install that first before the board, right?
Correct, yeah. Oh, well, the board, I would always do my walls first, because I would never wanna walk on
No,
my
the
trays.
floor, I mean,
What you weigh out from in out?
Well, it's gonna go in, yeah, and basically you're gonna dry fit and you're gonna drop your drain in, and the linear pan's gonna slide right up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.